While the magic squares themselves seem to have been exported from the system at great length, it seems for one reason or another, whether lack of self-discipline or lack of the means to, the actual process that is outlined in the Book of Abramelin has been explored by few. Seclusion from the worldly powers is advised in the book as a means to attain higher self-powers, which explains why the stereotypical wizard would probably live as a hermit. The book also illustrates that many spiritual masters have gone into the wilderness to gather or complement their wisdom. Such concepts are not foreign to seekers of nature-oriented mysticism. If the wizard, called a mage actually in the system of Abramelin, cannot work outdoors at an altar of unhewn or uncut stone, the instructions for the consecration of a proper prayer room are included. It is preferred if the mage can live a solitary life during the 18-month purification program. It's idle talk and arguments, uncleanliness, residual energy from others. All such things can interfere with the sanctity of the process. Now, unfortunately, Abramelin's magic erupts from a Hebrew Semitic tradition that was a little bit male chauvinistic, so the book and the system, it's a priestly magic that was originally intended for males. And within the context of the introductions, you can see where sacred sexuality comes into play, because the mage is actually advised to avoid female contact, mainly just due to the chances of situations that would disturb the pious states in a relationship, arguments, temptations towards sexual indecency, which in this system is considered any form of copulation for purposes other than procreation. Other magical systems and grimoires, they seem to exist without any regard for this, specifically focusing on ritual incantations and whatnot. The seeker of transcendental high magic tends to be notably different. As we noted in other systems and forms and traditions, the ability to channel the power of the God Self or power of creation, Tetragrammaton, breath, the mage must rise above the animal human nature and become close to God, I guess, for lack of better words. In preparation for the great work, then, the mage must foresee and remove the potential obstacles that are going to prevent such from being the case. In this system, we definitely see an application of the axiom that cleanliness is next to godliness. It may have actually have emerged from this, who knows, or from priestly work in general. But it's definitely fitting. The mage is instructed to remain as clean as possible during the purification period, both externally and internally, which includes regular bathing, clothing, bedding, the floor, the food eaten, thoughts dwelled on, everything. Following the Old Testament Hebrew laws, the mage is permitted to share a bed with his wife, but she should keep, I guess, also to the clean regimen also, which includes refraining from sharing a bed with the mage or entering the prayer room during menstruation, which is going back to Old Testament stuff you find in, I think it's Leviticus and all that good stuff. But the personal observation, I would say, is I guess probably the idea would be that during that time period, it would be almost impossible to maintain the degree of cleanliness that would be required by the system. That might have something to do with it. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt here. But because the same applied with the temples as well, as far as women and their menstruation. But that's Old Testament stuff you can read into if you really want to. Maintaining any kind of employment during the period of purification will prove difficult. Abramelin's teachings claim you can work outside the home, but you must refrain from idle talk, arguments, deceptions, and states of frustration. You have to carry yourself well, always working as though it were for God. And this is, of course, coming from a Semitic Judeo system, remember. Must avoid all manners of financial haggling. Actually, it would be better not to handle any financial matters at all because of the energies involved with money. Have someone else deal with the buying and selling. Though you should require very little during this purification period. You should eat lightly, and according to the Book of Abramelin, nothing that has touched blood. Although the traditional Passover and Tabernacles feasts, which occur once annually, were permitted. Drink lots of water, and through healthy diet, meditation, and prayer, the mage seeks to purify the entire being, both, all-inclusive, manifold, physical, emotional, psychological, spiritual, remove all the toxicities. As per the instructions, the mage should rise each day before dawn for morning prayers. It is permitted to rest afterwards, though you should not succumb to laziness, and it is recommended to avoid sleeping in daylight hours, according to this tradition. Something insomniacs like myself would probably have difficulties with, but we will find out. Assuming that you are not working in the wilderness, the prayer room should be separate from your sleeping quarters and living area, but close by. Instructions for the room are described by Abraham. The eastern wall should have a window, as should the western wall, which is also where the door is located. Spirits may appear to the mage, visible through the windows and the door, although the book informs that it would be better if the spirits are not conjured to physical appearance. So long as they perform the desired task, that is all that is necessary. Wizards have become very fixed on their efforts to see spirits manifest, and doing so requires significant energy from both parties, which could be better channeled toward the actual use of the spirit's abilities. But that is something that I've talked to at length in my lectures on magic.